You wake to the distant toll of a church bell rolling through the fog. The sound drifts slowly across the rooftops of London, echoing between timber-framed houses and narrow alleys like a voice calling the city to life. Pale morning light pushes weakly through the small shuttered window beside you. The air inside the room is cool and smells faintly of smoke from last night's hearth fire. It is the year 1500. London sleeps lightly, and the day begins long before the sun has fully risen. You lie beneath a rough wool blanket stuffed with straw. The mattress beneath you creaks as you shift your weight. Your linen shirt, worn thin from washing, clings slightly to your skin from the damp chill of the early morning air. Outside, footsteps already move along the street, slow, deliberate steps of people beginning their work before dawn. The bells ring again. Not just one church, but many. St. Paul's Cathedral in the distance, its massive Gothic tower rising above the city skyline, sends its deep iron voice across the Thames Valley. Smaller parish churches answer in scattered rhythms. Together they form the heartbeat of the city. You sit up. The wooden floor beneath your bare feet is cold. Your clothing waits on a stool beside the bed. First the linen chemise, already slightly wrinkled. Then a thick wool tunic dyed a muted brown with natural walnut stain. The cloth is coarse but warm, woven by hands somewhere in the English countryside. You tie it at the waist with a leather belt worn smooth from years of use. Over it, a heavier cloak waits for the chill outside. Color in London tells a story. The wealthy merchants wear deep reds, rich blues, and fine velvet trimmed with fur. But your clothing is practical, undyed linen and sturdy wool. Clothes meant for work rather than display. Through the small window you see the sky slowly brightening. A pale gray dawn spreads across the rooftops. You push open the wooden shutters. The street below is narrow and uneven, paved with worn cobblestones slick from the night's damp mist. Timber-framed houses lean toward one another above the street as if whispering across the alleyway. Their upper stories stretch outward, making the streets feel tighter the higher they climb. Smoke curls lazily from chimneys. Somewhere nearby, a rooster cries. London in the year 1500 is already one of the largest cities in England. Nearly 50,000 people live within and around its ancient Roman walls. But the city still feels medieval, crowded, wooden, alive with constant motion. You step outside. The cold morning air bites your face immediately. Your breath rises in pale clouds as you pull your cloak tighter around your shoulders. The street is waking. A woman carrying a wooden bucket walks toward the public well. Her dress is dark green wool, the hem damp from the morning dew. A linen cap covers her hair, tied beneath her chin. She nods briefly as she passes, the quiet acknowledgement of neighbors who see each other every day. Further down the lane, a baker pushes open the shutters of his shop. Warm light spills from inside. The smell arrives before the bread itself. Fresh loaves, round, golden, dusted lightly with flour, rest on wooden racks beside the oven. The scent spreads through the street, rich and comforting. Already 2 apprentices hurry back and forth carrying trays of dough, their sleeves rolled above their elbows. In medieval London, bread is life. Every household depends on it. You walk toward Cheapside, one of the busiest market streets in the city. The narrow lanes begin to fill as people leave their homes. Merchants, laborers, craftsmen, and servants all move through the fog-softened streets, each carrying tools of their trade. The sound of iron striking iron rings out from a nearby blacksmith's forge. Inside the open front workshop, the smith stands bare-armed despite the cold. His leather apron protects him as sparks leap from the glowing metal beneath his hammer. The forge fire glows orange in the dim morning light. Cart rattles past you. 2 horses pull it slowly, their hooves clattering against the stone road. The driver wears a thick wool cloak and a flat cap pulled low over his brow. The cart carries barrels, perhaps ale from a nearby brewery or salted fish brought upriver from the coast. London lives through trade. Everything moves through its streets. You pass beneath one of the ancient gates in the Roman wall. Though built more than 1,000 years earlier, the stone still stands strong, patched and repaired by generations of Londoners. Guards watch quietly from the towers above. Beyond the gate, the city grows louder. Cheapside is already alive. Market stalls line both sides of the street. Wooden tables overflow with goods. Apples from Kent, onions bundled with twine, smoked eels brought from the Thames, wheels of pale yellow cheese wrapped in cloth. Voices rise everywhere. Vendors call to passing customers. Coins clink against wooden counters. A fishmonger splashes water across his display to keep the catch fresh. Silver scales flash in the weak sunlight as he rearranges carp and perch upon crushed ice brought from winter storage pits. You hear the rustle of silk as a wealthy merchant passes nearby. His doublet is deep crimson velvet, trimmed with fur at the collar. His hose are finely tailored, and soft leather shoes protect his feet from the filth of the streets. A gold ring glints on his hand as he gestures while speaking to a clerk beside him. Clothing in London reveals everything. Status, wealth, profession. Even the color of a sleeve can show where someone belongs in the social order. Nearby, apprentices hurry through the crowd wearing simple tunics and leather belts. Their masters expect them early. Guild rules control much of city life. Bakers, carpenters, weavers, and masons all belong to powerful guilds that regulate work, training, and trade. The bells ring again, this time calling for morning prayer. You follow the sound toward St. Paul's Cathedral. The building rises like a mountain of stone above the crowded city. Its tall Gothic arches reach into the pale sky, and the massive wooden doors stand open to the public. Inside, candlelight flickers against towering columns. The air smells of incense and wax. Soft chanting echoes beneath the vaulted ceiling. People kneel quietly in prayer. Merchants asking for prosperity. Sailors praying for safe voyages. Mothers whispering blessings for their children. Religion shapes every hour of life in medieval London. The church guides morality, law, and time itself. You step back into the street. By now the fog has begun to lift. Sunlight breaks through the clouds and spills across the rooftops, catching on weathered wood and glass windows no larger than a man's hand. The streets grow busier with every passing moment. A group of schoolboys runs past laughing, their long wool robes flapping behind them. From an upper window, someone empties a bucket of water into the gutter below. The stream runs along the side of the street, carrying away refuse and rainwater toward the river. The Thames waits beyond the city walls. You walk toward its banks. The smell arrives before the water itself. Mud, salt, fish, and with smoke drifting together in the river air. Ships crowd the docks, their tall masts swaying gently in the breeze. Merchants shout orders as crates are loaded and unloaded. Barrels roll down wooden planks. Sailors in rough canvas clothing coil ropes and tie knots with practiced hands. Their boots are dark with tar and river water. The Thames is London's lifeline. Food, cloth, spices, timber, all arrive through its flowing currents. You watch as a small ferry pushes away from the dock, carrying passengers toward Southwark on the opposite shore. The oars dip rhythmically into the water as gulls circle overhead. By midday the sun stands high. The markets grow louder. Musicians appear on street corners playing fiddles and small hand drums. Children chase each other through the crowd while vendors sell roasted chestnuts from iron pans. You pause beside a tavern. The wooden sign swings gently in the breeze, painted with the image of a red lion. Inside, laughter and conversation spill into the street. Ale flows freely here. Men sit at long wooden tables drinking from heavy ceramic mugs. Their clothes range from the simple brown tunics of laborers to the carefully tailored garments of merchants resting after business. The smell of roasted meat drifts from the kitchen. Music plays softly in the background, simple lute melodies common in the taverns of England. As afternoon fades, shadows stretch longer across the city streets. Work slows. Shops begin to close their shutters. Artisans sweep the floors of their workshops while apprentices stack tools and extinguish fires. The markets empty gradually as carts roll back toward homes and storage yards. The sky begins to glow orange above the rooftops. Evening approaches. You walk once more through the narrow streets. Lanterns appear in windows, their warm light shining against the darkening sky. Smoke rises from countless chimneys as families prepare their evening meals. The sounds of London soften. Church bells ring again, marking the end of the working day. Somewhere in the distance, a dog barks. You return to your small room as darkness settles across the city. The same wooden bed waits beside the quiet hearth. Outside, London continues its restless rhythm. Guards patrolling the walls, sailors tying ships for the night, merchants counting coins by candlelight. The city never truly sleeps. You lie back beneath the wool blanket as the final bells fade into the night air. Beyond the window, the ancient walls of London stand silent beneath the stars. And somewhere in the quiet darkness, tomorrow is already beginning. The city never truly sleeps, even in the quiet hours of the night. Somewhere a lantern burns in a window. A traveler walks the silent road. The Thames moves slowly through the darkness. Ships rest against the wooden docks. Beyond the rooftops, church towers stand watch, their shadows stretching across the sleeping city. Tomorrow will bring the same rhythm again. The same bells. The same markets. The same crowded streets. Another ordinary day inside the ancient walls of London. A city alive with the quiet persistence of its people.